Adofonomi mamunyina kwa babie by Ekosiisen M'Ahiasem so and Yawada Thursday afternoon, the 25th day of February 2021, some 21 minutes after 2. We are live from our national studios at 355 Fanofa Street in Kokomlemle, Accra. It's not to say 6:30 p.m. energy media eba and then unim say Ghana's under-20 national team, the Black Satellite, Ejina Akono, AFCON under-20 tournament. Now, Nyamiadum Ghana to me qualify as part of the two best placed third, and as a third best placed teams, no me no. Unim say fa two in each group, as per tournament rules, no. CAF, AE, teams ID third, no, or more top two. ID third near the waka, two from each group. The Ghana Nyamiadom yetimi kokoka ho enne quarter-final game yani Cameroon and Asia, and that Cameroon team is an exciting team. Samuel Eto'o's ba ebo team no ebi ono I think was number 10 jersey in the Cameroonian team, and Roger Miller, the legendary Roger Miller and so ba ebo bi ono share number 9, and also a striker following in the footsteps of his dad. And it's an exciting team from Cameroon, Omani Ghana, Asia, and at 4 p.m. Pepe now at a live commentary. Abremo, the sports team will take over at 3:50, 10 minutes to 4. Now sports team now take over at the live commentary. No Abremo, Ghana and Cameroon under 20 tournament game now after about the Ghana Premier League. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Metema. Africa's Club of the Century, and the Bechem FC Asia, the Bechem United FC, and Subisia in the Ghana Premier League. I want him to say, when you kotoko final game I but before the Classico, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and the Accra Heart of Folk this Sunday. We say blade, but you know how it will end, don't you? Kumasi Asante Kotoko, any heart about Accra Sports Stadium there will be any. It's almost like a training game for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and he had 3 points in every heart for himself. That's really a no-brainer. It was Obianim say BC, it will happen. But the 2 games and Bremo Inti would sign off from the show at 10 minutes to 4 p.m. And what we'll be doing from now till that time, and it's and that conversation was put forth by a driver from Kabum Kubi, or the proposal be by, and they think toll booths dotted across the country, about 35 of them in some instances they cause traffic papa almost free sika free toll collection extra, because driver for be road users be into your toll. They suggested something quite interesting. And right, so we'll be speaking to the executive director of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, and Enron Sono Sampine, Mumu Bramunim Sampano, a local governance expert or a regional secretary, and so Edema, the new Patriotic Party of Ashanti region. Also was some interesting perspectives to that conversation. And Yebenyano and you so etumi edi hon enkomo. And then so the mobile US of A, and you see US of A, yen listenership yen viewership in the US no was so papa saying, and thanks to all our affiliate radio stations in the United States of America, from Washington to Virginia to New York to New Jersey to Massachusetts. Your affiliate radio stations were holding no 90 ama nipa share wo hono edoso monso amutie yan no edoso. Ya tese the new president of the US of A, Joe Biden, granted some amnesty to undocumented immigrants. Na muwebre na ebia mate ba monte ase papa. And yebeko US akwa kodi ho nkomo just to update and inform TF4 any na hwefo a US of A. A conversation you would have to listen to. It would be bomodin na time kuchu netumi etie. Already veteran of ministers na koso enra ebi koso enenso ade koso den and enche would be speaking to some of the MMDCEs na was as a focus ne nso no eba substantive ministers ne deputy ministers ne CEOs of agencies na ama yeja MMDCEs ne ewuminti ebinom de ekoso in their district ene ade no Ghana for bebre na enim we would want to begin something like that ne assemblies ne bebre na no edi enkomo to speak to some of the MMDCs and we'll begin from Pram Ningo Pram District Assembly na yani DCO and some of the concerns every Ningo aba bako the traffic jam say uko Ningoa the traffic into then assembly no de efa ho yebedi sanko yenim sa assembly ne so some amazing initiatives be about housing for all, just trying some man for bit many or more dying any day in the district. You bedin in Hong Kong and area. The DC will be passing through the show briefly enough. Yanano etumi akahon and Semi. You would want to join us with your thoughts, your comments, your observations. Na into me into it's your birthday today. I'm told your name is Abrewa and Wawoda Abrewa. And a happy birthday to you, Abrewa. It's from your daughter Adepa. Your daughter Adepa. Or say, Nema Midi the Abrewa. And we should say a happy birthday. Oh, you're a friend, I'm told. And we are Adepa Adam for power within the Abrewa. Happy birthday to you. And a happy birthday to Podonu Alexander in Kegbe. Hey. Podonu Alexander in Kegbe. We are incoming constituency secretary or Ashaiman constituency NPP. Podonu Alexander in Kegbe. Happy birthday to you. And let me say good afternoon to you, Alex Martinson, listening to us live in Koforidia, the Eastern Regional Capital. Nipa bebre now so na share on Facebook Live. Yeah, the munya say David Techimenson. Yeah, David, Enra, yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday. Though belated to you, David Techimenson, one of our regular listeners here. That's Papa. Mike Amenado says, Obi, you have an affiliate in West Coast of America, which is Amenado Radio in Denver, Colorado. Oh, okay. Okay, and they would update our list and add you. Now, I recognize them also. Big small, watch him and your name. Also, sharing watch him and your name in the Atiwa East constituency. Stephen Fifi Marfo says, good afternoon to you. Nana Akwesi Apia Sechi. That's Johnny Walker, also sharing Facebook Live. Michael Educhum says, you're watching and listening to us live from Virginia, Washington Metro. And also listening on Hope for Life Radio. Hope for Life Radio, one of our stations in Virginia. Adjoa Feneye says, Obi, I'm watching you live from the Bronx in New York. Thank you. Obi, watching you live. Great job. Government must listen to what the drivers are saying. Shelter, Senyo Dovi. And on the way, Abaya Ousu Swansea Air Sharing. Okay, the Kofi Ousu appear sharing Columbus, Ohio. Thank you. Nana, Kwesi appear, said, okay. Also share of Manhattan, New York City in the US of A. Nipano Edoso. Or this year kweku ousu ban and so share this year. Thank you for coming through with your message. Enti suddenly kind ya beshana ya shas ya bekwa homane so ba mamenna ya na boafo no ase Agbeve Herbal Center Amponsa Ifa Pharmaceuticals OMV and Sons Limited. The sound of our time, Ebrel. M'Ahiasem segment in so EcoBank Ghana, Awake Purified Drinking Water, Rockstars Roofing Systems, Ebuaini, Diano Bremo. Yeah, interviews are a show you so the AO phone, so the AO in studio one-on-one interviews, no, in Yanara, Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil, and a puff foods, and a HEPA Plus mixture, Ebuain. Your discussion segment in so Franco Trading Enterprise, or say phone Papa Pafi, TCL, The Creative Life. Dependable Herbal, Omodi Adoma Lakiwaba, and a Global Lighting Center Limited in Kanea Pafie, Omonso Ebuayen, and Yede Ekosiisen M'Ahiasem etumi Ebremo. Yabekwa Homano so Ekia Ohene Chene Abuaje of AK Poku Law in Northern Virginia. Ewa Homano so Ekia Akwaba na pom to saying
Boko Pachapum Boko.
Super. Northern Virginia, Boko.
But I have just a lot of snow in it.
Yeah. I can imagine. But some more shame who ye corona in sensemi. Okay. Well, Inti, what's the news I heard is new government in the US taking over, no? Omoma amnesty to some undocumented immigrant. Saying no clear what's asking him to saying.
Okay, Mepacho, thank you so much for having me. President Joe Biden was recently elected, or a new president, and Obayeno, or stated or reform it. He wants to reform the U.S. immigration system, and so or the new bill be about. He's proposed a new bill. The bill has not been passed into a law yet. However, bill no was introduced into Senate, which is Congress, just last Thursday, and so it's making its way slowly, to be voted upon.
Okay.
And the text of the bill was, as I said, bill double BA text so last week Thursday, and so we saw the details of the text. And the major proposal of this bill is that about 11 million undocumented immigrants, legal status here in the U.S. Ghana for ebinom, they come here and then they overstay, and some also come in and also need documentation. And sometimes some of them have been here for 30 years, 20 years, almost struggle because they don't have the legal documentation, and so they are in a big fix. And so that bill way is just attempting to kind of, just bring people out of the shadows of that undocumentation world. And people have been saying that there's no way this bill will be passed because Republicans, they are a little difficult, and that's the party of ex-President Trump. And unfortunately for us, so Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution gives the mandate to Congress to vote on laws. And so a bill is not a law, it's just a proposal. And so when the bill makes its way to Congress, it has to be voted upon. And Senate will vote, and then the House will vote. Unfortunately, Senate is split 50-50, it's 100. And we need 60 votes to be able to pass the bill into a law. But we are keeping our fingers crossed. People are very optimistic that this bill may pass. And so what we're trying to do at my law firm, which practices immigration law and represents clients all over the United States because immigration law is federal, is to start getting these people ready just in case the bill passes into a law. And that's some of the things we're trying to do.
Okay, into the bill, in its current state, say almost pass here. What is in there for undocumented immigrants? In this, me US, me Ghana, na mini papers say Billy e babe yemra, e den e be yamame.
Okay, great question. So bill no ebe yemra. What it's proposing is a bridge between your undocumented state and your documented state. And bill will give people a status known as the lawful prospective immigrant status, and this status will be valid for 5 years. And to be eligible for this status, you would have to go through an application process, and the details of that will be told to us. As at now, the fee that you will pay is not out yet, but you will be required to submit certain documents, say a passport, and then they'll do certain background checks to make sure you have been paying your taxes, that you haven't committed criminal offenses like an aggravated felony and certain things that will take you out of the purview of the law. Essentially, you will be asked to submit certain documents to prove your eligibility for that lawful prospective immigrant status. And this status will be for undocumented people. And once you are approved, you will be able to lawfully work in the United States, and you will be able to live here. You'll be able to travel abroad. 10 years, you can travel. The only caveat is that the actual text of the law, which is the U.S. Citizenship Act 2021, states that once you step out of the U.S., you cannot stay more than 180 days under the lawful prospective immigrant status. And then also, the other very interesting part of the law is that you should have been, if you, so you're undocumented, and it's what the United States on or before January 1st, 2021. And many messages we bring over because say, hey, at this point, it's too late. The law will only be applicable or be eligible for informal work the U.S. or within the borders of the U.S. as at January 1st, 2021, and they did not have documentation. And basically that's it. And after the lawful prospective immigrant status, for 5 years, you will have a 1 year period within which you can renew the 5 year status.
But the other thing they say, too bad. Ekuya Chene Abuaje line no article, and we some bit of education there for Ghana for more USCC in some dos one mutie in papa we Ekosiisen M'Ahiasem as we be na share online make on Facebook and afi on YouTube enti say YouTuber, yes, we might be having challenges accessing our original YouTube channel. Mr. Mo, just get into YouTube and search for Ekosiisen, or just type Ekosiisen in your search way, it will come. Now we live video on YouTube. Here papa Facebook there Asempa 94.7 FM in page on Facebook. You can like the page and watch our live streaming. Now, one of the prerequisites really to take advantage of Sadi, and they say busa passport and some other document meaning ade. But I mean undocumented immigrant. So other document are okay. Me
That's a great question. We realize the undocumented immigrant almost need valid ID. However, there's for Ghanaians we have the Ghana Embassy right here that almost more passport until you can apply for it. Another very critical document I have been, I started requesting for my clients, almost friend of FOIA. FOIA is Freedom of Information Act. And the FOIA is different from the Privacy Act. With FOIA, it means that you have the right to request from the government all the information that the government has about you. And the request can be done by undocumented immigrants. The Privacy Act is, where you go for information about yourself if you're a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. So for undocumented people, is the FOIA. And the FOIA request is a little bit complicated to do, and it takes a while. It takes our documents, And then it's the way I requested for FOIA. And the relevance of the FOIA is that what how had 10 years. Okay, so when was the first time with deportation order on Kai? The deportation order maybe 15 years ago. When was, how many times did you go into court on Kai? And I said, what type of immigration benefits have you applied for? When did you file an appeal? Was there a denial? They don't have all those details, and it's very normal. And the FOIA will give your attorney all the details, your entire immigration history about you. And sometimes put in place a FOIA request. I take 8 months near there. And undocumented immigrants will need this sort of information because to be able to apply for the lawful prospective immigrant status, they are going to ask you certain questions. Say, what are some of the things you've applied to do home baby style? When did you come into the U.S.? A lot of people don't remember some of these things. That's the point of requesting a FOIA. And you should know which department, because there are a lot of more departments in the U.S. federal government are ultimately requesting FOIA. There's the DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security. There's the USCIS, which is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. A Honor request immigration benefits. There's the CBP, Custom and Border Patrol. If you have been, ever detained at the airport, that's where you request your FOIA from the CBP. OBIM, which is the Office of Biometric Information, and your fingerprints, biometric information. If you've had any brush with any kind of inconsistent biometric information with the immigration system, that's where we ask it for. And that's the EOIR, which is the Executive Office of Immigration Review, which is the court system. If you've received deportation orders, if you've been summoned to court, and, all those kinds of things, you would have to request the FOIA from the EOIR and as a Board of Immigration Appeal. And so it's, and as ICE also, ICE is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Unit. And detainee and when you have been in such a situation, you need to request your FOIA from the ICE agency. So it's a very complicated process that people need to start doing and gathering, because when this bill passes into a law, there's going to be a crazy rush. 11 million undocumented people will be able to I want Ghanaians to get ahead of the game. I'm trying so much to try to educate them and to get the word out, but some of them don't have access to lawyers, and they listen to people and they don't have the proper information. So I'm really happy for this opportunity to be able to speak on this, very important platform.
Sisia no said wakano likely say bill no will go through Congress. Na ba be emra. You don't want the Ghanaian people to be found wanting. Na me sure say 11 million number na woka no undocumented immigrants from everywhere around the world in the US.
From everywhere around the world.
Okay. In the Ghana for no your numbers near best undocumented no. Do we know?
That will be very difficult to tell, because Obi Pacho, so when you say undocumented people, no, almost some of them don't use their real name, so there's no way you can track them. Unfortunately, even the government is not able to tell. Say, Ghana for undocumented, 100,000 and almost 200,000. Almost to say, corners. Nobody has that information. But almost Dawson, I mean, from word on the street, but numbers we're not able to tell.
Your name numbers, no. There were two final questions. Sir, Obi Aba US. I mean, we'll go through when your visa ewoha edi ababi drew US. At what point you can say nipani undocumented?
Normally, unya visa now, a lot of Ghanaians come on what we call the B1 and the B2 tourist visa. And this visa is usually for, America, normally the visa almost minimum for 5 years.
Yeah.
But one thing we have to differentiate is that the years that you are granted the visa, 5 years, and yet the amount of time you are allowed to stay in the US. The amount of time you are allowed to stay in the US is known as your the I-94. The I-94 is actually what authorizes your stay in the U.S. The visa only gives you permission to come to a port of entry, and a port of entry can be an airport or a land port of entry, such as Canada, the Canada border. And the visa need to do airport. Then the Custom and Border Protection will stamp and tell you are admitted for 6 months. If it's 6 months, you have to abide by the terms of your stay. If it's 6 months, now overstay by even 1 day, the rest of your visa becomes automatically revoked. Even though you have 5 years, you have overstayed the terms of your visa, and then you become undocumented because you were supposed to have returned, to your country after, within the time of the mao. And at that point, you're
undocumented.
You don't have permission to be on the United States soil anymore.
But over this 5 years, abided by the terms, now stay 6 months, you now back to home country. You can then go back again, right?
Absolutely.
On
That's
the same
what we
visa.
Call the multiple entry. Into 5 years multiple entry. It means that you have 5 years. 5 years. The Uber Timia Bejina Airport. At the airport to now seek admission into the U.S.
Into the
U.S. only gives you permission to get to the port of entry. Obana will be 6 months now. As a can come back to your country, and then you come again and then seek admission, and then they look and then say, okay, we're admitting you until normally admitted until if you have for frame admitted until. I got a client just this week, and also ne visa no mama stamp admitted and so, and she thought it was a happy party about because the visa she has a visa up to 3 years. I went online and did the I-94 search on the DHS platform, and no, she has 6 months within which to leave. And people are not aware of some of these things. Into who overstay it, as a matter, you would have to, you would be in trouble because now you are violating the terms of your visa.
Oh, okay, I get it. Indeed, this is clear who an undocumented immigrant is, and I can imagine the number of Ghanaians in that situation. Say, papa. I mean, the last time me ba Bronx, I was told say Ghana for even the state of New York in him say New York in excess of 70,000, but more. I can imagine the numbers Worcester or Newark, New Jersey, and all of those areas now. Ghana for the door so what this new bill seeks to do, and it's undocumented. I go through a process to regularize my stay.
Yes, but and at this point, we are just hoping that both the Senate and the House will cooperate on mobile vote and then pass the bill into a long time for more and then hopefully we'll get good news.
And while they wait, they should make sure so when you sa document now 4 year getting sa 4 year the explanation was a bit technical. Are you sure, sir?
Yes.
Ghana for in this situation no ete and what they have to do to get this?
I'm sorry for interrupting. 4 years are very technical. Normally, in fact, most people just lawyers because you need to understand, how to file the request, and yes, you'll be denied. If you have queue, 20,000 and they change documents, they don't have time for you. The least mistake you make, every agency has the formula and a format who use it to get the documentation. Once you miss a step, they reject and deny it, and you are kicked out. It's important that immigration attorney you consult with them, and then they will be able to assist you to do that request. But obviously, try. People can try by themselves if they feel like they're competent to do it, but it's technical.
Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Now, share what will happen in Congress, and Bibia to me go through. We'll come back to you now for your education. So why? That's it, Papa. That's it.
For this opportunity.
Great. Ekia Chene Abuaje, a lawyer practicing and our license to practice in Ghana and in the US. AK Poku Law, Northern Virginia, and Amotesi Adeno AD and Komo Inti. It's a very, very important intervention for the thousands of Ghanaians in the US. Mutiye Debiarada Ewo Jumedi Eso Yadamuase Papa Pasamo. We do some of these things also to help you now. We add value to you. You also get some information and then you're updated. No who and the moment was utimi itu. Now uti US and yesterday be a police for a bar. Na ujane be brina in that situation and it becomes very unpleasant. Uti will be my no ni papers, Papa. Because anytime there is a swoop or somebody she brutal. Yes, you're more one year do be she play. And yes, please take advantage of this. Na you're interested in your ABC Ako. More mofa who go through Temamoto way eba befa the new interchange so na udi weni chere ekwan na kwa flower no o ko miuchu o ko pram any ade a traffic ya o temu